go to Lubowa. But behind the scene, there's been a lot of push back and forward on our going to Lubowa. But I'll take you through all the communications and as they moved along. When we took a decision, one, we are going to Lubowa on following an audit query. We are not there as a sector committee to monitor progress. That work is to the sector committee. In the Auditor General's report in Treasury Operations, he reports an overpayment of 77 million US dollars, equivalent to 286 billion, because Treasury promissory notes were cashed out of the 8 schedules that amounted to $133 million, an equivalent of 480 something billion. Now what happens is that the Auditor General, on doing out a financial audit and value for money audit, he realized that the work done at site in Lubowa by the time of the audit was only worth $77 million, but they had made a financial commitment and a payment of 133, which meant, and he noted that there was an overpayment of 77 million US dollars, equivalent to 286. Ministry of Health. Ministry of the Health is the one that runs that project at that time. And the Ministry of Health appointed an owner's engineer, Dr. Tim. Now, Dr. Tim issues what they call a milestone certificate of completion, upon which the Accountant General, and on the maturity of a promissory note schedule, makes the payment. So he only makes payment when, one, the schedule has matured, but two, when the owner's engineer has issued a certificate of milestone completion. Therefore, Dr. Tim, those who will call in the committee, we even put him on oath, he ought to have satisfied himself that work has been done to move the Accountant General to pay. He said in the committee that he issued them in a full knowledge that work equivalent was done, and disputed the report of the Auditor General as a false report. The Auditor General has also not done this country a favor. While handing over the audit report to the Speaker, he said that he had a special audit on Lubowa, and that report was ready. That special audit included an engineering audit. We have since written to him to issue that special audit, and he has sat on it. One, I appeal to the Auditor General. He did this on behalf of Parliament and on taxpayers' money. He ought to come out and issue that special audit report on Lubowa. Because there are so many other things going on. Now we have days, farmers, something, spending money that way, local, Atiak, mention them. There are quite a number where we are spending a lot of financial, and this is borrowed money. Now, The owner's engineer disputed the Auditor General's report. So we were there to verify. We were intended to go on site. We are not engineers, but to see with our neighbor, because construction is like a pregnancy. Okay? Yeah. It's like a pregnancy. If you tell, like, now I'm 6 months pregnant, somehow, even not a doctor would tell that you are not at conception level, but really the pregnancy has grown. So you do not need an expert to tell that really some work is going on in construction. And they're not building a hospital in the underground. Okay? If it was an underground establishment, would say they've done fantastic work. But also the hesitation and because I'm going to take you through all these letters one by one, and I'll give you a copy. I run a public office on behalf of the people of Uganda, and I'm here to be honest. So we tasked them to do the needful. Now, I've given the background. On the 11th of April, we wrote to the chairman, no, not us. Because you remember in the committee, we asked the Ministry of Health to organize the site, to organize our visit. So the PSSS, Dr. Diana Twine, on 4th of April, wrote to the chairman of Finance, ISHO Corporation, PSV Limited, and informed the lady that the Parliamentary Committee Parliamentary Accounts Committee of Parliament intends to visit the hospital construction site in exercise of its oversight role on Monday, 15th April 2024 at 9 a.m. The purpose of this visit is to ascertain the progress works and possibly interact with the developer and the project management team. The honorable members of Parliament may probably be accompanied by their technical teams. The Ministry of Health team, comprising the project management team and some members of the top management, will be led by the undersigned. That means Dr. Twine will read the team from the Ministry of Health. So please prepare appropriately for the visit and plan for at least 30 persons. Signed by Dr. Twine. Now, I think the press, you have another letter of reply, and I don't want to go into it, where the Mr. Charles Biaru Hanga replied and requested for those other special gear items, protective gears. After that, then Dr. Twine wrote back to me, to the chairperson of Public Accounts Committee on the 12th of April. He said oversight visit by the committee to Lubowa Hospital. Reference is made to the meeting of 11th April, wherein the committee directed that an oversight visit be conducted at Lubowa Hospital construction site. Please find enclosed. Now, this letter is a cover-up letter of the other letter, which you have, okay? Now, we wrote back to the, I think this letter is not, we wrote back giving them a date of, so when should give us this letter? We wrote back giving them a date of 26th today at 9 p.m. because they had requested from 22nd,
9 a.m.
9 a.m. We said, okay, we will not even come on 23rd. We'll come on 26th. So we gave them time. Now, they replied to, not to me now. They replied to the clerk to Parliament. with this letter. They replied, I think, this is the letter. This is the letter we wrote, the one here. Reference is to your letter, the letter I wrote. The committee has considered and agreed to the request by the project developer to postpone the project site, to postpone the oversight visit to the project site until after April 22nd. This is therefore to inform you that the committee has resolved to carry out this activity today, 26th of April at 9 a.m. Please prepare to receive members and technical staff of the committee whose names are hereby attached. So we also attach the names and also the size of the feet which they wanted for each member. The committee will also be accompanied by the parliamentary press, which is you, whose details we do not have immediate but can be provided when availed. Please prepare personal protective equipment of sizes ranging from medium, large, and extra large for the delegation. Thank you. Because they wanted sizes. We told them do medium, large, and extra large. Now, this time they never wrote to me. They wrote back to the clerk, to Parliament. This letter is addressed 23rd of April 2004. And they now wrote to the clerk as if it is the clerk that wrote to them. I don't want to go into the politics associated with their work. Now, the one writing is Kenneth Akili for Dr. Twine. Clerk to Parliament, oversight visit to Lubowa Hospital by the Public Accounts Committee. The Minister of Health has received a letter from the chairperson, the other one I've read, of the Public Accounts Committee regarding an intended oversight visit to Lubowa Hospital on April 26, 24, a copy of which is attached. So he attached to the clerk a copy of the letter I wrote. Herewith, for your work, is of reference. The delegation accompanying this visit comprises of over 50 members of Parliament and staff, including members of the press, whose exact number is yet to be determined by the visiting team. Given the substantial size of the delegation, the developer has expressed the need for additional time to procure the necessary the necessary personal protective equipment, PPE, to ensure the safety of all the visitors during the visit. Consequently, an alternative date for the visit will be communicated in the due course. We kindly request that honorable members of the Parliament to defer the visit until a new date is communicated. Okay? Until a new date is communicated, we assure you that we are diligently working to ensure that all necessary arrangements for the site safety are put in place promptly ahead of oversight visit. Reference. Now, this letter was to the clerk. The clerk referred it to the speaker. Okay? And the speaker wrote a comment on it. Kindly defer the visit to Lubowa. Okay? This is the signature of the Speaker of Parliament, telling the committee to defer the visit to Lubowa, and they sent me this letter. And I've been having it for the last 2 days. Now, first of all, now you know the story. And I don't need to draw my own conclusions. Mine is to account to you the processes we are undertaking to ensure a value for money audit. And that's now what it is. At the leadership of the committee, with an order from the Speaker, I think our view was that we defer the committee, but that's the excuse. But my submission to this effect is that we are still going to do, in my language they say, omulimba omuwerekera mpaka wasula. Okay? That is a Luganda proverb. If one tells you, so our home, we have a flat, there's even a swimming pool, I'm even sleeping in water, you don't give a damn. You just slowly by slowly. So we will not be deterred by these actions, by these tasks of delay. I'm yet going to communicate another date where they will have the, and this is a project, a multi-billion project, that are finding it hard to provide safety protective gear for a committee of, because the number of 50 is the size of the committee. The Public Account Committee has 50 members of parliament. The press of you, okay? You are how many? You are another 20, okay? And my staff, I have fairly big staff, support staff in the committee, they're about 10, 15. Is that too big to go even to Owino, to buy those other reflectors, to buy that plastic helmet, and to buy gumboots? Because they are not going to buy anything. They are gumboots. Even if today you are running a size of Lubowa with so many billions, within an hour, you would have procured all those other things. But if one gives them as an excuse and says he requires a further date, you say, okay, fine. Time, you catch up with it. We are going to yet do the needful and communicate another date, and we will not be deterred by those delaying tactics. Meanwhile, next week, I will summon the committee, the Minister of Health, to come and now finish the audit report, because there is an audit query. And I think I'm summoning them Monday. Monday, I'm going to have the Minister of Health, because the meeting never ended. It stopped midway. And as a committee, we will now pronounce ourselves, because I will not be on health. I have 552 agencies whose reports I must do. And I will conclude with them firmly and decisively on Monday. I want the owners engineer, I want the PS, and on Monday I'm also calling the Accountant General's office to be there. We have one conclusive on our part. We will conclude, and we work for and on behalf of Parliament, and as delegated by the Speaker and by the whole House. We will refer this matter back to them, and we will take action. But before that, on Monday, I think with the ministry, we will decisively deal with them, and we will conclude. That's our take, and the only thing that will remain will be an oversight visit. On our side, we will do our processes and make our conclusions on the audit report of Lubowa and on the Ministry of Health Monday, and I will communicate. It will be either morning or in the afternoon. But Ministry of Health will be here in Parliament to also speak for these letters, and we will take the necessary steps. I thank you. We are for an audit report of 2022-23. And I've said at the beginning that I don't run an oversight committee, which the sector committee, Committee of Health. Okay? Now, that is responsible for that. Me, I deal with an audit report. The audit year, by the time of the audit, the ministry, leading agency ministry on behalf of Uganda, was Ministry of Health. And the owner's engineer is Dr. Tim, who is an engineer in the Ministry of Health. What now is not subject of the audit report under consideration. So when I look through that report, I don't see OPM. I see Ministry of what? Health and Accountant General. That's why we told them, don't bring in health, don't bring in OPM, please, it's the Ministry of Health, and we resolved it. So it is health that led to a financial loss of 286 billion overpayment. And it's because the owner's engineer satisfied himself that work worth that amount of money had been done, and the one responsible. Now, maybe next year, when they bring the year of audit of 2003, 2004, it will be OPM. But that's why we are not interested in the ongoing constructions. You get it? Mm-hmm. We are interested in what construction had been done by the end of the audit year. So we have nothing to deal with whether I have other information that the window level, blah, blah. We are not concerned. We are only concerned, but the other concern is that this developer went to a bank and withdrew all the money. Because in the contractual arrangement, I know from the Committee of Finance, that's where, to an extent, there is a fraud by penalty. Frauding Uganda. Because under the agreement, of course, this is a bit complicated, there was a financing bank, which I think is Standard Chartered Bank London, or Stanbic London, whatever the bank is, that had agreed to lend money. Now, the bank was supposed to release this money as per the construction schedule. But now what Penalty did, once he got the promissory notes, okay, by the Ministry of Finance, he just went to the bank and withdrew all the money. That's why on maturity, the bank demands Uganda to pay. Because this one withdrew the what? The money for no work going on. Yet it was also supposed to fund as per the phase. That's why you go, it will involve later on a close scrutiny. It will have to bring in the office of the Attorney General. What was the agreement that you signed? It may have to, this case of fraud will include penalty for the loss of this money. And of course, the owner is engineer, his hands are tied for him having satisfied himself that there was. So I'm giving you the full length of what it is. That the Attorney General needs to satisfy itself. We need to go to the bank. Did the bank also release money as per construction? Did the penalty get the promissory note and go and withdraw the money, used it for her own purposes, and she's now gambling? Okay? She's now gambling with some construction. And we want to tell even the president, Lubowa is not a classified site. Okay? Constructing an hospital is not a military facility. It's civic work. And it's for and on behalf of the people of Uganda, not his private money. Not any leader's private money. It's not a private estate of anyone. It's for the people of Uganda, in whose name they've really paid high price for this kind of money. The project should have been completed in 2000, and by the way, it started in 2018. For your information, it should have been up and running by 2022. They postponed it to 24 September. I've seen all those agreements. So we should have been, my friend Lukwago should never have gone to India. He should have been treated in Lubowa. But he now had to go all the way to India for treatment. So we want to appeal to leaders to also let institutions they set up do their work. And there is no shame in admitting a wrong. There is no shame. We all fall short every day. Even in the Bible, all fall short of glory and seek God's what?
God's mercy.
God is mercy. That's why every day we pray. So they should not be like, oh, this is about them. It's about our taxpayers' money. They borrowed this money. That's why we are now paying a 12 trillion debt rollover and 80 trillion interest rate on domestically borrowed money. So anybody in the treasury and whether it's the president, they set up these processes and they must respect them. So we appeal to the powers that be, hands off. You let the committee do its work. Olwaleero erintu webuzibidde webukeeredde nga abakulu abo bawandiikira clerk nga bamugamba nti because committee kyeyakola twawandiikira atuni atuwandikira nga batugamba bali redde okureceiving committee okuvanga ennaku z'omwezi 22 omwezi guno. Ne tubeera nabakisa ne tubagamba 22 size tugenda kujja 26 tubawadde obudde obumala okwetegeka because ekyo kye batusaba. Era ne batusaba tubaweereze amanya n'abantu be tunaagenda nabo. Ne tubaweereza amanya g'aba committee members bonna. Ne size z'engatto ze baali beekwasa ne tuziweereza. Nti abantu baffe abamu ba bigere binene beetaaga extra large. Waliwo n'ab'ebitonotono abeetaaga medium. Waliwo n'abalala abakyala nga bagoleti abeetaaga small. Ne tubagaa temutawaana mugende ate bino tebabagamba nti bali engatto ze bajja e Bulaaya zino ga mu boots ezikolebwa bata oba any other company olusi bagula za white. Niruka genda ogule kitegeza genda ogule size 10 9 8 bowe genze wala nnyo 6. Abakulu aba balina company netwega ate buno obufulano ne bogenda wali n'ofuna omutunzi abukolera. Buno obufulano obubeerako n'ababoda babuyina. So si bwa bukugu nti buno bwabwe buliko electronics ezikwata buloka ng'ejja okukuba. Ekikofiira kya bulijjo mwebiri wano mu hardwares. Ebiyitirivu nnyo ne bogenda olwaleero. Kampuni eno ng'egamba nnyinike yeetaaga obudde okunoonya ssente. Ezigenda kati batuzzemu natuga nti beetaaga namba twabawadde nnene nnyo. Beetaaga okunoonya obusobozi. Bagende ndowooza beewoleyo omulundi omulala basobole okugulaga mu buutusi obufulaano n'ebisepeewo bino ebya pulastika. Era bano bategeeza nti bajja kutuwa olunaku oluki olala. Ne bawandiikidde Clark n'awandiikira n'awa copy speaker n'asaba akakiiko komiti ereme genda Lubowa okutuusa ekiseera ekyomu maaso. Olunaku lwe banaatuwa ffe tuli bagumiikiriza omulimbo omuwerekera okutuuka waasula. Kye twagala okutegeeza eggwanga bibiri wammanga. 1 Auditor General Sebo bwe wali owaayo ripooti y'omwaka guno gwa audit wategeeza speaker nti special report ku Lubowa wagimala. Kati tuli mu mwezi gwa kuna kumpi tugenda mu gwa kutaano kitegeeza audit process eno eggwako mu mwezi ogw'omukaaga ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3. Si kirungi kusansanya ssente za musolo naawe n'okola emirimu ripooti n'ogituulira. Mu Bayibuli bagamba amazima gali bafuula abaaki ab'eddembe. Truth shall set you free. So do your due duty, give the country the report, engineering report, special report on Lubowa, and say as is. However, ne baba tebakoze ekyo bye baateeka mu report ya treasury operation sibimala, baatulaga nti abakulu abo bakabasasula $1,033,000 ne be baatunulira omulimu basanga nga gwenkanakana $5,7. Kitegeeza basasula ssente ku mulimu ogutannakolwa $7,700 ezenkanakana ssente za Uganda nga batadde mu exchange rate y'omwaka ogwo si kati $2,806 ezasasulwa nga ezo ziripoteya. Kati ndowooza peneti ali mu kweyiyayiya naye n'ekyalo ekikisufu ekiriwo abantu twaga tubajjukize nti mu ndagaano gye bakola tuva tujja kuyita ne attorney general banka either Stanbic or whatever Standard Chartered, the detail nzo gibafunira later, yayina okusasula nga emirimu gitambula egya Lubowa. Kati promissory note obweya mu Uganda bwe yawa nti gwe banka benetuuka okubanja kweddwaliro likyagenda mu maaso bakya constructinga fe eggwanga lijja kusasula ssente ezo kubanga manya nti eno project ya build, operate and handover. Finally Penet ayina mu myaka egijja eddwaliro lino wadde yalizimbye n'alyotandika odyoperatinga ayina didi za gavumenti yaki ya Uganda. Eddwaliro lino lyatandika project eno yatandika 2028 yayina okuggwa mu myaka ekyo 2018 yayina okumala emyaka emeka 3. Kitegeeza nti 2021 yandibadde ewedde kiva abakola 2022 September ng'eddwaliro senga omukulu president yagenda dda wali n'akuba n'emizinga naggulawo eddwaliro naye naye atyawo kuba wamukwasa ensonyi naye yennyini president atyawo we tutadde obuwanana bwa ssente buno yabadde Nakivubo yaliko ewa Nkyawo yaliko Nambole project ezigiba gavumenti etaddemu ssente abakulembeze freely bazirambula. Speaker luno yabadde Nambole enambole tutaddewo $1,000,000 ziringa 10 billion za Uganda ziringa 10 naye babaddeyo ate n'abajjaasi wali be bazimba naye bano bapeneti bazimbye aba civilian. So ekyokulambula site ezizimbwako nga tebazimba military installation kya bulijjo ekigenda mu maaso olaba nawe ne bw'oba ozimba ekizimbe kyo olinnyayo waggulu ekyo n'olaba ebintu bebikola ki bwe bitambula. Kati kino tebazimba kya muntu, kino teri agamba nti tugende Lwakitula oba Ekisozi Museveni gyalina amaka ge ne property tulambuleyo. Okitegedde tetunagendako nti tugende wa minisita wa Herese Achenge gyalina amaka ne gyakola emirimu gye egy'obuntu tulambuleyo. Era ku bonna tekuli yatunze wadde Museveni natundayo wadde ejjembe ly'ente okugamba nti ateeke ssente mu Lubowa. Bazeewoze nze naawe kyovulaba omusolo mafuta biki tugenda kuzisasula. N'ekyo twagala kubasaba nti buli omu akkiriza obukiiko buno obuteekwawo bukole. Kati nzo bawa report nti okuva letwawuuba ekibiru ekigere ne tugenda embuya omulimu gukola ki gutambula. Era okuva letwatandika bino I know the background nyingi ebya Lubowa era mwalabyeko tibeekakabye ne balonda ne Dr. Kigundu batugamba waliwo ekigenda mu maaso. N'olwekyo bano buli kiseera ab'NRM ne Museveni beetaaga kuswanyulamu kabooko ne bazukuka okuva mu kasumagizi. Andi Nyerere yagamba buli gavumenti lwerwawo egenda mu silamba efuna akasumagizaako. N'olwekyo ati kati bano NRM yasumagira nnyo terina kyekola mu butuufu ne kiggwera mu budde. mukwano gwange Lukwago yatinye n'agenda eki eyindi yokumukolako cooperation senga eddwaliro lino lyabadde liwedde Lukwago tiyandisose kuva Nairobi nabaga tetumusobola kati nebaga tumututtewa India yandibadde agenda Lubowa badokita baffe wano ne bamukolako kyekyazimbye kyekyasesayo sente zino senga mwenda mujjayo ebigambo bya Bahati byayogera ku parliament ng'asaba sente zino ziringa kati abazitusaba ono ayagala okukola eddagala asaba butitimbe trillions nga 2 waliwo omusajja omugezigezi okuva ebusogaawo ebintu bino tebigwa Roko yagamba wano mumpe sente parliament njagimala n'okutuusa kati wapi ne boogera oluzungu wansawo ku floor nga n'ebinyonyi tebirutegeera naye n'okutuusa kati bw'oyitawo wali olaba bukureyini busajjasajja bukolayo enkya olweggulo ne butakola ku makya ne bubaawo kugamba bw'otuuka egundi ataka gye tutadde sente tewaliyo wadde ensawo ya sukaali evaayo wadde eya sukaali ggulu kubanga tiyo sukaali ggulu mwangu okukolebwa ne bw'omusambisa ebigera ajja ne ani Amina ate Museveni alina engeri gy'afunamu abakazi oba yabazuulamu kyamaki buli lwalina byayisaawo olabawo Amina Peneti alina engeri gy'afunamu abakazi oba yabafunamu kyamaki Mukama Katonda yakimanyi nene be bamuzaala kati be bamuzaala naye buli lwaba alina okukola ebyo ebyemusimbi omunene ebyo ogenda okulabawo ng'omukazi akoze eki ayingiddewo awo Amina Peneti n'abalala bangi nga basonzaawo sibigamba birala mwe bye mulowooza nedda ngamba bugambi nti ayagala nnyo bakozesa bamukolera emirimu gye mingi nnyo so bawulize gyakola ki gyali bamaama batera okukola emirimu so bamwanguyira ng'ayisaawo bino ebya sente nnyingi balabika temuli bakulupya nnyo mu abakazi naye obuzibu buli kyawadde omukazi nakyo tekigwedde Amina simanya Peneti kozi ono Magola era Magola naye Speaker Kadaga yamwegambawo n'amwerekera awe wa president nti akoze eddagala lya COVID teyafulumyayo wadde Covidex oyo Magola oyo kakati yagamba nze nina eddagala lya COVID ngenda difulumya n'ayambala essuuti n'agenda ewa president nga ka speaker teyafulumyayo wadde Covidex naki n'akamubwati wadde obugolo obunuusa omuntu alwadde COVID tiyabufulumya omanyi olwala ssenyiga obugolo bumukolako tafulumyangayo wadde akagolo naye kati ayagala tuliyoni meka luno ne batugamba emwanyi zaffe zigenda bweru eyo lwabogo n'ayambala wano essuuti n'agenda yogere Bulaaya eyo twagenda okulaba ng'ali mu buzigozigo bwatulaga nti kano kashopu kano kati ng'olabira ddala kiyosiki gyataddemu emwanyi za Uganda n'alengamu n'ebbogoya n'agamba kati bino biwedde awo netusasula obutitimbe n'olwensonga eggwanga ebintu bino tubifiiriddwamu ssente ezikola ki eziwera naye tubawo obweyamu ti omulimba omwerekera wakola ki omuwerekera okutuuka wasula Ministry of Health therefore tugenda giyita ku bbalaza ffe ebyaffe nayo tubimale batugamba nti olukiko teruyinza kuggwa nga tetugenze Lubowa kati bifuuse lugendo lukola ki ogende Lubowa si kugenda kuyita ku Siratwa abasiraamu abamanyi Siratwa tugamba esalanga akajegere kalinga kamweno eringa ejjirita okutuuka eri biri babizibu nnyo kakati no so ogenda Lubowa wano si tuyita ku ki ku Siratwa nti wansi muliro ate waggulu miga miyitirivu n'ebisolo ebikambwe biri eyo otambula butambuzi wano kati president lwaki Lubowa emuswaza Abaganda bagamba akatali kabbe amagumba osuula mu ki ku mulyango if you do a good job but even doing a poor job is also part of progress project tutandika ebintu bingi n'ebigaana era kyabufuna noga nti kino olaba obufumbo bwe bugaana naye nga ne Katonda yabaddewo nga mubukola ne Katonda abaawo era omusajja n'ayambala bulungi nnyo omupaatiri oba seeka n'ayambala bulungi n'abawonga eri Katonda mutambulako emyezi gijo nga tebikwata era nemugamba lumbe lwe lutwawukanya ne Katonda mu kufa mu bulamu mu bulwadde mu bugagga mu bwavu nebyo byonna temubirinda obufumbo ne bisatulukuka. So okulemwa kyabuki kyabuntu ate era it is brave also oga nti guno omulimu gukoze eki gunyinze everyday. Nze nali musajja mugezigezi mu ssomero naye waliwo ebyannema neŋŋamba obye bya history wanyo waawo simanya mirambo nyungu ya mawe shaka zuru byannema naye waliwo ebya abalemwa n'okubala nga ne bwemubuuza nti akubuulire kaliculasi n'agamba ebyo wanyo waki waawo naye bw'ogenda ku byosobola ofuuka omuki omuntu ategerekeka. So everyday human progress eri mu kulemwa nakola ebyo byetusobola okukola ki okukola. So baba tebabisobola kyova olaba gavumenti engunjufu bezirwalwawo ebbanga nga ziraba emirimu tezikyagiziyinga ziteekawo obululu obw'amazima n'obwenkanya zo zennyini abantu bazijje mu buki mu buyinza naye bano balemerako bulemezi buli ke bakwatako kavunda. Omanyi waliwo abantu abagaza mwali mutegedde mulimu engalo z'abantu ezigaza nga buli kyakwatako bwetu ne mukitereka enkeera kiba kikoze eki kigaze. Kati NRM yatandika engalo zaayo zigaza buli kimu buli kekwatako kigagabuga. Abatamanyi Luganda okugaga kitegeeza emmere eyo eba eyonoonese. Oli ne bakwata mu nva ne muzisuza mu fridge oba omukono omubi musanga era zakoze eki zagaze. Ate omulala ne bwazikwatamu n'abagira ne bakwata ku ggolu ne mulibika musanga era lyakoze eki lyagaze. Kati bano batandika okufuuka nga buli ngalo zaabwe zigaza buli kimu. Mukama Katonda abankuumire. Ya Clark bwe yagifunye yagiweereza speaker. Speaker yakulira institution eno. Speaker n'ateekako mu mukono gwe ng'agamba mulindeeko genda wa Lubowa. Siri mujeemu mu nkola yange ey'obuntu. Nina obugumiikiriza nze ndi musajja musiraamu. Bano abasiraamu bamanyi Katonda ne beyandireese wala aswiri innali insana lafiru husiri. Yaga nti guno omulembe gwa kufaafaaganirwa okujjako abo abakkiriza ne bakola endagaano ne bannaabwe entuufu ne babeera nga batambulira ku mazima ne bakola emirimu emirungi ne babeera n'obuki n'obugumiikiriza. Ndi mugumiikiriza nnyo mu bintu by'ensi eno nti nsobola okugumiikiriza bano ne mbawerekera mpaka we bakola ki we basula era nja batambuza mpaka lwe n'abambula. Nja bagumiikiriza ku buli leetanga nze ntereka buli leetanga nze ntereka lipooti yange nagenda ogifulumya nga mbaga nti mulaba bino bwe biti bwe bikola ki good enough bino mbikola mu public opinion in public sinaamu bahandizo kyovula baŋŋamba nti twagala oba noŋŋamba twagamba kiteeke mu buki mu buwandiike. Same each with microfinance nabo beetooloola byalikoleeta ku jowe ne bimulema nange babinemesa but they will have to account. So this time ekyande taano pate yange nenzija mu birala bye nali nkola obulungi kyali kutereeza komiti eno era nja kuvaawo nga ngitereezezza. Ebbanga lye naamalamu nga Katonda mpadde obusobozi teri kirina busobozi kisijja kukola ku making sure nti wenvirako after 2.5 years ng'eno komiti nagizaawo gyeteeka egenda okukola ki okubeera era nja kituukiriza. So teriiko abo agenda kunzija ku eyo mission. That's why I was brought here. I was doing very well as the shadow minister for finance and that's where my expertise is. I'm not an accountant. So I was brought here on a special mission by my party. Very special mission. Sitting as an ordinary chairperson. I came here to clean up park. To clean up park. Chovola ndiwo wano ndiwo chiboko ya uchafu. Even the MPs have set high standards for them and they know internal. I don't want to explain. You fall short, I deal with you. So, no, I deal with you as the chair. So I'm even holding people to those standards and we are slowly getting there where we ought this committee to be and we shall not be deterred. For as long as God gives us energy and life and the faith we have, we shall prevail.